When you hear the word collagen, what is the first image that pops into your mind? I bet it is an expensive face cream, a beauty influencer with glowing skin, or maybe a promise to erase wrinkles overnight. We have been conditioned to view collagen as nothing more than a cosmetic luxury, a vanity metric for the surface of our bodies. But I want to challenge that perspective today because it is fundamentally missing the bigger picture. If you are dealing with nagging joint pain that just won't go away, gut issues that seem to flare up deeply after meals, or a feeling that your body is literally becoming stiffer and more fragile as the years tick by, you are not just aging. You are likely suffering from a structural failure caused by a specific nutritional gap. The mainstream advice tells you to just eat enough protein, focusing on chicken breast or egg whites, but that advice is incomplete and potentially misleading. We are going to uncover why treating your body like a simple protein calculator is failing you. We are going to explore the real root cause of why your connective tissue might be starving. If you are ready to look beyond the surface level advice and understand the architecture of your own biology, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a briefing on your health. The modern approach to nutrition has a fatal flaw, particularly when it comes to protein. We are obsessed with muscle meat. Walk into any grocery store and you see rows of skinless chicken breasts, lean steaks, and cans of tuna. We have been taught that protein is protein, and as long as you hit your daily gram requirements, you are fueling your body correctly. This is the mainstream myth that is slowly degrading our health. By focusing exclusively on muscle meat, we are getting an abundance of methionine and tryptophan, which are certain types of amino acids, but we are severely lacking in others. We have completely abandoned the ancestral way of eating, which was nose to tail. Our ancestors didn't just eat the muscle, they ate the skin, the cartilage, the marrow, and the connective tissue. In fact, about 30% of the protein in the human body is collagen, yet our modern intake of it has dropped to somewhere between 1 and 3%. This massive deficit is not just a dietary quirk. It is a biological emergency. To understand why this matters, we have to look at what collagen actually does. You need to stop thinking of protein simply as building blocks, like generic bricks in a wall. While it is true that when you eat protein, your body breaks it down into amino acids to use as raw material, collagen offers something unique that a steak or a scoop of whey protein simply cannot provide. When you consume collagen, your digestive system breaks down about 90% of it into individual amino acids. However, the real magic lies in the remaining 10%. This 10% survives digestion in the form of peptide chains. These are not just passive bricks. Think of them as messengers or project managers. These peptides act as powerful biological signals. They travel through your bloodstream and literally dock onto the cells responsible for building tissue, known as fibroblasts. They scream at these cells to wake up and start repairing. It is like the difference between dumping a pile of lumber on a construction site and hoping a house appears versus sending in a team of architects and foremen to direct the construction. Standard proteins provide the lumber, but only collagen provides the foreman. Without that signal, your body doesn't prioritize the repair of your cartilage, your tendons, or the lining of your arteries. This mechanism goes even deeper when we consider how it interacts with other systems in your body, specifically your inflammatory response and your gut health. This is where it gets fascinating. We often talk about inflammation as the enemy, but we rarely discuss how our structural integrity dictates our inflammatory status. The lining of your gut is essentially a barrier made of collagen-rich tissue. When you lack these specific signaling peptides and the amino acid glycine, which collagen is packed with, that barrier becomes compromised. This is often called leaky gut. When the gut barrier is weak, toxins leak into the bloodstream, triggering a chronic immune response. Now here is the connection to another physiological concept, cortisol. When your body is in a state of chronic inflammation due to a compromised gut barrier, your cortisol levels, your stress hormones, remain perpetually elevated to fight that inflammation. High cortisol is catabolic, meaning it breaks down tissue. So you end up in a vicious cycle. You lack the collagen to repair the gut, which causes inflammation, which raises cortisol, which then tears down even more collagen throughout your body to use as fuel. It is a metabolic death spiral that leads to stiff joints, aged skin, and a body that feels like it is slowly unraveling. Furthermore, we have to look at the role of glycine as a metabolic regulator. In the modern diet, heavy on muscle meat, we get a lot of methionine, high levels of methionine, without enough glycine to balance it out, can raise homocysteine levels, which is a marker for inflammation and cardiovascular risk. Glycine, which is abundant in collagen but almost absent in muscle meat, is necessary to buffer this. It acts as a donor for methylation processes and is the rate-limiting factor for your body's production of glutathione. Glutathione is your body's master antioxidant. So by skipping the collagen-rich parts of the animal, you are not just hurting your joints, you are depleting your body's main defense against oxidative stress and aging. Interestingly, some studies have found that the specific peptides derived from collagen ingestion can remain elevated in the blood for hours after eating, specifically targeting areas of damage. This suggests that the body has a specific transport system designed to utilize these connective tissue proteins differently than muscle proteins. It implies that our biology expects us to consume the entire animal, not just the filet mignon. When we strip away the gristle, the skin, and the bone, we are removing the very instructions our body relies on to maintain its structure. We are effectively building a house with bricks but firing the construction crew, and then wondering why the walls are starting to crack. The real root cause of many modern ailments, from premature aging and joint degradation to poor sleep and gut issues, is this fundamental mismatch between our evolutionary biology and our modern grocery habits. We are structural creatures attempting to maintain a complex scaffold without the necessary blueprints. The absence of these collagen-derived signals means your fibroblasts go dormant, your repair mechanisms stall, and your body shifts from a state of regeneration to a state of degeneration. It is not just about looking younger, it is about stopping the slow structural collapse of your physiology. 1. Reintroduce liquid gold by making or buying high-quality bone broth and consuming it daily. This is the most ancestral and bioavailable way to get collagen into your system, but you have to understand why it works better than a simple pill in many cases. When you simmer bones, knuckles, and connective tissue for a long period, you are performing a process called thermal hydrolysis. You are essentially pre-digesting the collagen protein, turning it into gelatin, which is incredibly soothing for the gut lining. This gelatin attracts water into your digestive tract, which aids in hydration and helps seal those tight junctions in the gut barrier we discussed earlier. To execute this, you don't need to be a master chef. You can buy high-quality organic bone broth from the store, but make sure it actually turns into a jelly when you put it in the fridge. That is the sign of real collagen content. If you are making it at home, use the garbage parts of the animal chicken feet, knuckles, and marrow bones. Simmer them with a splash of apple cider vinegar for at least 12 to 24 hours. The acid helps pull the minerals and collagen out of the dense bone matrix. A cup of this warm broth every morning acts like a soothing balm for your internal systems. A word of caution here. If you have histamine intolerance, long-simmered bone broth might trigger a reaction like headaches or flushing. In that case, you will want to cook it for a shorter time in a pressure cooker or opt for a specific hydrolyzed powder instead. 2. Strategically consume the skin of pasture, raised chickens and wild-caught fish rather than discarding it. For decades, we have been told to peel the skin off our chicken breast to save a few calories or avoid fat, but this is a nutritional tragedy. The skin is where a massive concentration of glycine and collagen resides. By removing it, you are throwing away the very nutrients that balance out the methionine in the muscle meat. Biologically, the skin is designed to be tough and elastic, which means it is packed with the exact structural proteins your own skin needs to stay firm. When you eat the skin, specifically from fish, you are also getting a unique type of collagen that is absorbed very efficiently by the body. To put this into action, change your cooking habits. When you bake a chicken or pan-sear a piece of salmon, leave the skin on and crisp it up. That crunch is not just delicious texture, it is structural nutrition. Think of the skin as a natural supplement wrapper for the meat. If you are eating a can of sardines, buy the ones with skin and bones included. The bones are soft enough to eat and provide calcium, while the skin provides the collagen. It is a perfect whole. Food matrix, however, ensure you are sourcing clean animals. Toxins can be stored in fat and skin, so prioritizing organic, pasture-raised poultry and wild-caught fish is more important here than with lean muscle meat. 3. Incorporate specific odd bits like tendons, tripe, or oxtail into your weekly meal rotation. This might sound intimidating if you are used to standard cuts of meat, but this is where the highest density of collagen is found. Muscle meat is soft tendons, and oxtails are tough because they are pure connective tissue. When you slow cook these cuts, that tough collagen breaks down into the most rich, sticky, and nutrient-dense food you can imagine. The science here is simple, supports like eating the connective tissue of an animal provides the precise amino acid profile needed to support your own connective tissue. It is the ultimate form of targeted nutrition. To make this actionable, start with something approachable like oxtail stew or a slow-cooked pot roast that includes the gelatinous cuts. You don't have to eat a bowl of plain tendons. The goal is to cook them down until they melt into the sauce, thickening it naturally. This richness in the sauce is the collagen dissolving, ready for your body to absorb. If you are adventurous, explore traditional dishes like menudo tripe soup or tendon pho at Vietnamese restaurants. These cultures never stopped eating collagen. They knew intuitively it was vital for health. Just be aware that these cuts require time. You cannot flash fry a tendon. It requires slow, moist heat to unlock the collagen matrix, so pull out your slow cooker or Instant Pot. 4. Supplement with a high-quality hydrolyzed collagen peptide powder to ensure consistent dosing. While whole foods are ideal, it can be difficult to get a therapeutic dose of collagen every single day through diet alone. This is where science steps in to help us. Hydrolyzed collagen has been broken down enzymatically into very small molecular chains, measured in Daltons. The smaller the Dalton size, the easier it is for these peptides to cross the intestinal barrier and enter your bloodstream intact as those signaling molecules we talked about. This is your insurance policy. It ensures you are getting those specific peptides to wake up your fibroblasts even on days when you don't have time to simmer a stew. Action. Wise, look for a powder that is agglomerated or hydrolyzed, sourced from grass, fed cows or wild. Caught fish. Mix 10 to 20 grams into your morning coffee, tea, or smoothie. It is generally tasteless and dissolves instantly. This is particularly effective for people trying to repair an injury or recover from surgery, as the demand for raw materials is much higher than what food alone might provide. A key tip, don't confuse this with gelatin powder you use for making jello. Gelatin gels, hydrolyzed peptides dissolve. If you put gelatin in your hot coffee, you will end up with a gummy mess. Make sure the label specifically says peptides or hydrolyzed. 5. Pair every collagen serving with a source of vitamin C, the non-negotiable activator. You could eat all the collagen in the world, but without adequate vitamin C, your body cannot knit it back together into living tissue. Here's the biochemistry. The enzymes responsible for stabilizing the collagen structure, prolohydroxylase and lysyl hydroxylase, are completely dependent on vitamin C. Imagine your body is a construction site and collagen is the steel beams. Vitamin C is the welding torch. Without the torch, you just have a pile of loose beams. You don't have a structure. You need to actively pair these nutrients. If you are having bone broth, squeeze some fresh lemon juice into it. If you are taking a collagen supplement, take it with a small bowl of berries, a kiwi, or a high-quality vitamin C capsule. Do not rely on the tiny amount of vitamin C added to some collagen tubs. It is often low quality. Get it from a real source. This synergy is critical. If you are deficient in vitamin C, which is more common than you think due to stress depleting it, your collagen supplementation becomes significantly less effective. It is like trying to run a car without spark plugs. 6. Ensure adequate intake of copper and biotin to support the cross-linking process. We are going deeper into the rabbit hole of metabolism here. Once collagen is produced, it needs to be strengthened through a process called cross-linking. This is what gives your tendons their tensile strength and your skin its elasticity. An enzyme called lysyl oxidase is responsible for this, and it requires copper to function. Biotin AB vitamin also plays a massive role in the health of skin, hair, and nails, working synergistically with collagen. Most people ignore these cofactors. You don't need a huge amount, but you need them present. To execute this, include copper. Rich foods in your diet like beef liver, dark chocolate, over 70% cocoa, or shellfish like oysters. If you are eating nose to tail as we discussed, you are likely getting enough. If you are purely supplementing, you might be missing out. You don't necessarily need a copper supplement. In fact, too much synthetic copper can be harmful, but being mindful of eating liver once a week or having some oysters can supercharge your collagen results. It is about the orchestral performance of nutrients, not just the soloist. 7. Leverage glycine specifically before bed to deepen sleep and enhance nocturnal repair. One of the most immediate benefits of collagen is the high glycine content, and you can use this to hack your sleep. Glycine acts as an inhibitory neurotransmitter in the brain. It calms the nervous system and actually lowers your core body temperature, which is a physiological trigger for entering deep restorative sleep. This is when your body does the majority of its physical repair work. So, by taking collagen before bed, you are providing the raw materials for repair exactly when the repair crew is clocking in, while simultaneously sedating the brain for better rest. The protocol is simple. Take your collagen dose about an hour before sleep. You can mix it into a caffeine-free herbal tea like chamomile. Many people report a significant improvement in sleep quality and a reduction in morning grogginess within a week of doing this. It turns your sleep into a true metabolic therapy session. Just be careful not to mix it with sugary drinks before bed, as the insulin spike would counteract the benefits of the growth hormone release that happens during sleep. Keep it clean. Before you rush out to buy a tub of powder or start simmering bones, there are a few critical nuances we need to address to make sure this works for you. First, for my vegetarian and vegan friends, this is a tricky area. True collagen only exists in the animal kingdom. Plants do not make collagen, they make cellulose. While you can buy vegan collagen builders, understand that these are just collections of vitamins and amino acids like vitamin C and proline meant to support your body's own production. They do not contain the signaling peptides we discussed. It is harder, but not impossible, to support your tissue, but you won't get that direct signal. Secondly, patience is the name of the game here. Connective tissue has a much slower turnover rate than muscle or skin cells. Tendons and ligaments have poor blood supply, meaning nutrients take longer to get there. While you might notice better skin hydration in a few weeks, significant joint pain relief or structural changes often take 3 to 6 months of consistent daily intake. Do not quit after 2 weeks because you didn't turn into Superman. Biology works in rhythms, not sprints. But let's quickly recap the key logic here to lock it in. We are suffering from a structural decline because our modern diet isolates muscle meat and discards the connective tissue, creating a deficiency in glycine and specific signaling peptides. By reintroducing collagen through bone broth, skin, organ meats, or hydrolyzed supplements, we are not just feeding our body raw materials, we are sending a chemical signal to our fibroblasts to rebuild the very scaffolding of our body. We enhance this process by ensuring we have the welding torch of vitamin C and the crosslinkers like copper. This isn't just about vanity, it is about maintaining the integrity of your gut, your joints,